Before we start editing this masterpiece, go ahead and click the link down below. I actually put the raw file of this photo. That way you can go ahead and edit with me throughout the video. You know, tag along like a teacher-student type of thing. Now, first thing first, crop your photos. I've seen too many photos on Instagram where it's just too much dead space and it kind of just pisses me off. That really pisses me off. It ticks me off because you have the tools to crop photos. You can make your subject stand out more than just having so much dead space. So in Lightroom, I'm gonna go ahead and click this little grid and I'm gonna do a 4x5 because this will be going on Instagram and I'm cropping. You see, I'm cropping. Most people, they don't do that. You gotta crop. So I'm gonna line it up just right here. Now, a tip for the future, if you're editing any photos where there's straight lines in the back, such as buildings and etc., anything that's straight, go ahead and click on this angle tool and just line it up with something that's straight. Obviously, it doesn't look like it's straight because I'm getting a little crooked here. Or am I? Maybe not. But either way, use that tool in the future. But as for right now, I'm just cropping to get the subject right in the middle. So once you crop it, then you can finally start editing. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the exposure just a little bit. That way the sun's peeking out, we have a nice glare, and you can start to see more of the car. 0.85 is a little too much for me. I'm gonna do 0.60. Now I'm gonna bring up the contrast up 25 just so I can get some details on the dark. Now I wanna see the sun rays, I wanna see some clouds. So with the highlights, I'm gonna drop it down all the way to -100 just so I can start seeing some clouds here. Now I'm gonna bring up the shadows up just so I can see, of course, more of the rims and more of the front of the car. 35 is fine, bringing up to 10 on the whites and as well 10 on the blacks. A lot of editors are like, all right, once you get to this process, blast your texture. That way your car detail stands out, blah, 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 whatever. No, I mean, it might look cool, but that's not how I do it. I dropped the texture actually all the way down to -35 because when you drop it down, it smoothens out the vehicle and actually bring up the details through clarity. Now with saturation, I'm gonna bring that down all the way to -30 just so when I touch up the color panel, I can bring out selected colors that I want to. So here we are, HSL color panel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from hue and work my way down to luminance. So with the red, I usually just mess around to see what I like. Now keep in mind, there are red brake calipers, though you can barely see it. I'm keeping that in mind, that way I don't change the color. And I mean, even though if I do make drastic changes, I don't really see anything. So as well, we'll probably see something more of orange just because orange is the foreground of this color. Okay, let's do -30. Same thing with yellows. I'm gonna go ahead and just move it more to the left. I don't want to make the dry lake bed too dry. I want to give it some color. That's why I'm messing with the orange and yellow. With the aqua, whenever you're doing car photography, you're always gonna get aqua on the window tint. So if you see me move all the way to the left, you're gonna see it slightly change. All the way to the right, you're gonna see it change. I kind of want to even out the window color, so I'm gonna move aqua all the way to the right. Blue, let's give that a -15. Purple, magenta, we're good with that. So saturation, I already know I took away some of the red, so I'm gonna bring that back in by doing +40. And if I want, I can make the dry lake bed a little more wet. Not like actual wet, but like dry, I mean alive wet. Not my DMs dry, but never mind, I'm not getting anywhere with that. Bringing it up to 35, that's way too much. But if I brought it down, that looks ugly. So if I can just give it a little pop at 35, that looks good. Same thing with yellow, let's do 35. Green, let's actually desaturate that all the way just because there are some green in the window tint and we're taking that bad boy out. Same thing with aqua, I don't think we really need that. Blue as well, let's do -40 on that. So this is where we're at before and after, and we only gone through 2 panels. So with red, I can bring that up just a little bit. Let's do that 25. Now if I do bring up the luminance of orange, it is going to bring up the foreground, and I'm not trying to make that too bright because I want my main subject bright. The thing with your eyes is that your eyes are always attracted to light, and that's the first thing it's going to look at. So when you're done with this photo, turn your head away from the screen and turn right back at it, and whatever your eyes lands on first, that's the main subject. I learned that from photography class, so if it's wrong, blame my teacher and not me. Well, blame me for repeating it, but blame my teacher. So with orange, let's see, we could keep it at -25. And then with yellow, I could make it dark, but nah, not that dark. Let's go ahead, let's just bring it up 20. Green, I do see that affects a little bit of the background, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Aqua, we could remove it. Blue, I don't want to do that. If anything, I want to make it just a little bit brighter. With detail, I can put it up around 50, and to make sure that I'm just detailing the car, I'm gonna go ahead and hold down my option key and slide the masking slider, and this will show me what I'm focusing on. Boom, that's good. Luminance, I am gonna bring this up 30 just in case I do have any noise And down to the calibration. I could mess with this and just see what I like. Then again, that does change like the whole color, what I had going on kind of. But that's not bad. That is not bad. I could do 40 and see what happens with the green. And I could do -50. And then finally with my blue primary, let's see. I mean, you could go either way. So here we are as of right now. All we did was just go through a couple panels and we went from this to that. But we're not done yet. I'm going to go ahead and select this circular gradient tool and I'm going to just highlight over this car. Now, as you can already see, it's already bright because I already had like basically a preset before this. It was already set on this. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on that. Usually people, they bring up the exposure, the shadows, and boom. Okay, cool. I got the car white. Yeah, you got the car white. You also got the foreground white and the backgrounds and the sky. What are you doing, bro? So to fix that, it's pretty easy. Right underneath the invert button, there's a range mask selection. Click on color and there's gonna be a little eyedropper. Click on that and make your first mark anywhere on the car. So I'm gonna go ahead and make it right on the hood. Now once you do that, press O on your keypad and it's gonna turn out to be red. And this is just the program telling you what you have selected. This side of the door is not really selected. I could do a little touch-ups here on the front bumper and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna hold down the shift key and I'm actually gonna extend it. And you're gonna see the red start to be more visible on this side. There we go. Now we are getting some foreground and some background, but that's fine. I'm gonna keep adding some eyedroppers and see what happens. Looks like if anything I selected more, but that's fine. So once you have your eyedroppers selected, go ahead and select O again to remove the red. And once you do that, then you can start messing with the panel here. So I'm gonna bring up the exposure just a little bit to 0.4 as well. I could bring up the contrast, that way the blacks can stand out more too. So I'm gonna do that to 25. Well, highlights, I'm gonna leave it there, that's good. Shadows, I'm gonna bring it up just a tad bit at 16, and I'm gonna blast clarity just a little more. Now that we have the subject lit up, it's now time to make sure that this is the only thing that stands out to you in this photo. So you can go ahead and select this gradient tool right next to the circular one. It's a square one. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and select the foreground and just go all the way up until you reach your subject. I'm gonna go ahead and press O again to see what this program's telling me has been selected. And it looks like it's been all the way up here and it starts to fade off. Now you could angle if you want to by hovering over this middle line and then moving vertical up and down. And if you want to extend what's been selected, you can hold the top line and move it up just a little more. But it's already touching right here in the front lip a little bit, so I'm fine with this. And now that I know what's selected, I'm gonna go ahead and press O again, and then I'm gonna mess around with the exposure. So right now, like I said, it's already set on 1.29. I'm just gonna bring it down. Now you don't want to make it too dark because, like, look at this. That's not really, I mean, that's actually not that bad. Because I don't want to make it too noticeable, like, dude, some guy just slapped a black square on it. I'm going to bring up the contrast just a little bit, bring down the blacks, texture, let's go ahead and smoothen it out, and that should be good. So now that we have the foreground selected, let's go ahead and do the same thing to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and select this square gradient tool, bring it down over on top of the car, press O to see what's been selected. Okay, not bad. I can probably move this down a little bit more, press O again. And now that I know that the sky's been affected and not the car, I can go ahead and mess with the exposure. And when you bring down the exposure, you can finally start to see some clouds. I can also bring down the highlights to get the same exact thing too. But wow, this is it's more beautiful than my ex-girlfriend. I hope you're not watching. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Well, actually I did. I can bring it down just a little bit more. You could mess with clarity to give more of a definition on the clouds. That would be cool. More on the clouds. Then once you're done, press enter. So now we've gone from this to this. But if you do want to touch up the whites again, you can go ahead and select the circle. The eyedroppers are already selected on it, and you can just bring it down. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you edit like a pro on Adobe Lightroom. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, please go ahead and smash that like button. Follow me on Instagram at DZNIPerez. And also freestyle with this photo as well. You don't have to do exactly what I did. And when you're done, snap a photo and send me a message through Instagram showing me how you edited your photo, and I'll go ahead and repost you, showing that you have your skills. Other than that, I hope everybody takes care, wash your hands, brush your teeth, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.